legal report is not an autopsy report and is not worth reading or even considering. Why? Hindi naman siya naka-examine ng body. If you present this in court, inadmissible nga ito eh. Because he has no personal knowledge. Kung basahin mo yung in detail ang kanyang contents ng report niya, nag-examine siya ng various specimens of alleged organs of the body taken from the body of Christine daw. Remember, the Dacera family, never gave any consent for specimens to be taken, never knew that there were specimens taken, so we do not know if these specimens are really part of the body organs of the late Christine. That is their official position. Hindi kami sigurado itong in-experiments ito kung talagang kay Christine ito. Pangalawa, tingnan nyo yung report ni Dr. Palmero, and I hope he's listening. Page 2, may nakalagay nga opinion. Opinion lang pala ito eh. Hindi naman ito examination. Kanyang opinion ito sa findings ni Dr. Sarmiento. Pero hindi nagsasabi nga siya yung nag-autopsy. Kaya, importante ito ma-clarify for the benefit not only of the media, but yung mga taong bayan nga nagkikinig are interested in this case. Dr. Palmero never conducted an autopsy. On January 11, the body had already been buried. There was nothing to examine. And the alleged specimens he is examining, walang knowledge itong pamilya, walang consent. We do not know where this came from. So, let us look at the contents. Medyo nakakatawa nga ito yung contents ng medical legal examination kasi this is the first time nakita ko yung medical legal examination, may narration of facts. Kinukwento dito yung nangyari sa City Garden Hotel. Hindi na yan bagay sa medical legal examination report. Pagkatapos pangalawa, yung last paragraph niya pa, ni-rule out niya daw ang homicide. Alam ba ni Dr. Palmero ano ang elements of homicide? Abogado ba si Dr. Palmero? So, very clearly, this medical legal report of Dr. Palmero should not be given any importance. What we want to go back to is the medical legal examination report of Dr. Sarmiento. Yung kay Dr. Sarmiento, meron siyang findings. Mayroon siyang findings of injuries sustained by Christine on the legs and on part of the arms. Ito.
Ay, Palmero yata.
Sa kanyang report, examination of the private parts of Christine, he specified mayroon abrasion, mayroon endometriosis, parang swelling, fresh, hindi healed. So, para sa pamilya, Dacera, more than sufficient probable cause na ito that rape could have occurred. Why are they saying that? Alam mo, ito pinag-usapan rin namin, although I already agreed, ang pamilya Dacera agreed not to divulge yung nangyari sa meeting kahapon with the NBI. Pero ito ma-divulge ko dahil sa Republic Act ito 8353. I pointed it out that yung rape is not committed only by force or intimidation. Rape does not need the presence of a semen or drugs. Because under the law, it is very clear sa Section 2 of Republic Act 8353-266-A, rape can be committed by any person who under any of the circumstances mentioned shall commit an act of sexual assault by inserting the penis into another person's mouth or anal orifice, or ito, magkinig kayo, any instrument or object into the genital, anal, or anal orifice of another person. In other words, nakalagay any person. It does not say man, it says any person. That means pwedeng LGBT, pwedeng babae, will commit the crime of rape by inserting any object into the genitalia or part of the body and or in the anus. In addition, for the benefit of those nga walang hindi abogado, the Supreme Court has also ruled that a mere insertion of a finger into the genitals of a woman constitutes rape under Republic Act 8353, whether or not there is semen or drugs. So, naniniwala ang Dacera family nga there is more than sufficient probable cause to hold these respondents. Hindi naman sinasabi namin na guilty sila, pero sinasabi lang namin nga at this stage of preliminary investigation, may probable cause. Okay. Pero ang pinaka-importante, at saka ito yung para sa akin, gusto ninyo malaman, kay I consider this as breaking news. The Dacera family believes that there are findings in Dr. Sarmiento's report and maybe eventually to be confirmed by the NBI, depende kung anong resulta, which are inconsistent with facts. Kasi sinasabi doon sa reports nga enlarged ang heart. Enlarged daw ang heart. 23 years old ito si Christine, flight attendant, nagbabiyahe sa Philippine Airlines 30,000 feet above sea level 4 times a day. Hindi maaari nga mayroon siyang enlarged heart. Otherwise, lumabas na yon sa medical examination ng Philippine Airlines. Meron kaming kopya dito ng kanyang medical examination sa PAL na pwede ninyong ipakopyahan. Ha? You can copy it because the PAL medical examination states heart normal, no hypertension. So, walang ebidensya nga may enlarged heart. Paano mag-enlarged heart ng 23-year-old flight attendant traveling 30,000 feet above sea level 4 times a day? Hindi naniniwala ang pamilya nito ng enlarged heart. May palagay namin, cover up na naman dito. So now, the Dacera family has decided to insist on a DNA examination of all these specimens mentioned by Dr. Palmero, of all the organs allegedly examined to be inside the body of Christine, so we can verify. The family believes there's no yung kalokohan yung enlarged heart for a 23-year-old. At saka diyan malaman natin kung talagang kay Christine ba yung specimens na in-examine, kay Christine ba yung organ, kay Christine ba yung enlarged heart, kay Christine ba yung aorta. So, with that, we will really be able to know kung tama ang analysis, ang findings ni Dr. Sarmiento, o kung tama man ang findings ng NBI, because we are interested only in finding the truth. Wala kaming personal dito sa mga respondents. We don't even know them. But We want to find out the truth. We want to get to the bottom of this. Mga identities sa room 2007, sino ba sila para masama namin sa kaso? Up to now, there is no one from room 2007 that is included in the case. Puro 2009 ito. Kaya humingi kami ulit ng unexpurgated, unedited, unspliced CCTV ng hotel 3 days before, 3 days after para malaman natin sino talagang lumabas, pasok doon. So, our breaking news is this. The Dacera family demands a DNA test of all specimens of alleged organs of the late Christine, as well as, if we need to exhume the body, let's exhume the body so we can compare the DNA on her arms, on her legs, with the DNA of the alleged organs. Ganyan lang. We are open to any questions. You can ask also Sharon for any questions. Yes, Rex. Yes.
Pero sir, yung findings kasi dun sa nauna rin, halos parehas din. Ang sinasabi is ruptured
Aortic. Ruptured aortic.
cause of death.
Sandali, yung findings si Dr. Palmero, hindi naman autopsy yun.
Hindi, kaya medical legal po.
Eh,
Medical legal yung kay...
It's not
Palmero is not a medical legal examination.
Opinion. It's an
Kaya
opinion.
nga sir, kung ayaw nyo i-honor yung kay Dr. Palmero, which is sabi nyo nga hindi ano, kung babalikan ulit natin sir yung sa autopsy report,
Ni Sarmiento. Yes.
ang sinasabi niya is ruptured aortic aneurysm in between the eyes. Then sir, doon sa sinabi niya yung sa, ano, yung sa hymen niya, is, ang nakalagay dun is, hindi fresh eh, deep field laceration.
No. Let's read it. Balikan natin. Do you have a copy?
Yeah.
No. Ito.
Sa likod.
Wait, ako na magbasa.
Sa likod. Last.
Why don't we read from the report itself, okay? Ay, sige. Genital examination. You can compare it with your copy. Pubic hair, shaved. Labia majora, presence of an abrasion, left side. Labia minora, the left side is endomatous. That means partly swollen. Hindi nakalagay doon na healed. Yung healed dito sa hymen. Hymen presence of deep healed, yun, healed. Pero yung abrasion sa itaas at saka yung endomatous, not healed. That means fresh. So, yun ang aming punto. Kasi palaging sinasabi may mga haka-haka nga walang rape. Tapos si haka-haka pa ni Dr. Palmero, walang homicide. Ito, more than sufficient basis. Binasa ko na sa inyo yung provision ng batas. More than sufficient basis for probable cause. Nasa preliminary investigation pa lang tayo. Hindi pa tayo nasa korte for establishing guilt beyond reasonable doubt. Only probable cause. Mayroon bang ebidensya sufficient to hold the suspects probably guilty of the crime committed? This is it. So, we contest whatever mga haka-haka nga walang rape. At saka we contest the allegations that they had taken specimens. Walang alam yung pamilya. Kunin lang yung specimen. Isa pa, baka narinig nyo yung interview ni Attorney Mike Santiago. Kasi Attorney Mike Santiago was trying to point out nga hindi, nag-request na yung PNP for pathological analysis. Kaya pinadala yung parts of the body on January 4. Correct ba yun?
Yeah.
Oh. On January 3, yung katawan ni Christine, January 3, nadala na sa St. Peter's
January 4.
by the family. So, ano ba yung, saan siya ba kumuha ng specimens niya? Oh. So, itong mga tanong is best resolved by a DNA examination of the specimens, di ba? Gusto natin malaman katotohanan eh. Unfortunately, the NBI does not have forensics for DNA. Neither does the PNP. So, we have to find an outlet. Ito may ginawa silang na-refer yata sa UP. Pero sabi ng NBI, parang UP, hindi rin yun conclusive. Kung basahin mo yung report on the DNA, no conclusions can be reached. So, para ma-settle natin itong issue, kung ano talaga itong organs ito, Christine ba ito o ibang tao ito? I think that the best would be a DNA test. If we have to do it abroad, let's do it abroad para sigurado tayo nga walang cover-up dito. Any other question? Yes.
You mentioned na baka in-impersonate ni Dr. Palmero yung autopsy kasi hindi naman niya examine personally. Ano yung motivation niya to impersonate the autopsy
Tanungin mo
to
siya.
pick up these reports?
Tanungin mo siya.
Hindi nga namin maintindihan kasi January 2, mayroon na namang medical legal examination sa Sarmiento. So, pagka January 11, mayroon naman another medical legal examination. In addition, si Dr. Palmero. At saka, hindi talaga maintindihan yung kanyang report. With all due respect, may salaysay siya dyan about the case. May sabi siya, no homicide. Hindi naman siya abogado. Doktor lang siya eh. Paano niya malaman kung may homicide o wala?
So, tingin niyo ba, is it a matter of agenda or is it a
Cover
matter of
up.
negligence?
Alam mo, yung pamilya Dacera, whether rightly or wrongly, believe, and I throw this to you guys because you've been around probably a long time already. Ako, I am actually before, that's why I dress up like this, kasi I used to be a broadcaster, radio broadcaster in Bacolod. So, I also share your sentiments. Unang-una, ang nangyari, we have a party, 16 men, 1 woman, inside the hotel. Nag-inuman. Admitted naman nila yan. May vodka, may tequila, may rum. Tapos, yung dalawa sa kanila gumawa ng statement na si Christine nagreklamo nga yung drinks niya may nilagay si Mark Rosales. Tapos si JP Serna nagsabi nga may nakita siyang powdered substance in the sacks of the same Mark Rosales nga binigay kay Louis de Lima. All of them are respondents. Tapos isa pa, we have a statement and I hope we can get a copy of this. That isa sa mga na-imbestiga ng NBI, nagsabi nga naghingi siya ng drugs. He came from 2207, humingi siya ng drugs sa 2209, tapos ang sabi nga ni Romel Galido nga naubos na ang ating stock. So, knowing the behavior of these people, drinking session, 16 of them, would you believe the story nga yung powdered substance in the sacks of Mark Rosales, asin, nga gagamitin sa tequila? Ha? Naniniwala ba kayo yung ganyang kwento? So, kami naniniwala nga talagang drug si Christine kaya ang behavior niya erratic. Hindi na yan si Christine, ibang tao na yung makikita ng mga parents niya. Tapos, she has injuries. And this is confirmed by the report of Dr. Sarmiento. Contusion, no? Extremities. Contusion. Right hand. Contusion. Right hand. Contusion, proximal third right thigh. Linear abrasion, yung parang sugat nga mahaba.
Yeah, sa legs.
Multiple contusions. Multiple contusion. Contusion right ankle. Contusion left ankle. Contusion right foot. Hindi ba ito ebidensya nga parang there is some resistance or there is some struggle on the part of Christine. That's what the family believes. That's why nga talagang naniniwala sila that there was drugs and there was sexual molestation of Christine during that event. Now, of course, yung ebidensya naman ay importante. Kasi sabi ni Dr. Di una yung si Sarmiento, no more liquid in the bladder. Andiyan sa report niya, bladder empty. Okay? Tapos, pagpunta ng NBI team, forensic team dito, doon sa General Santos, may recover silang 100 milliliters of urine. Kaya kung minsan di naman maintindihan, empty dito kay Dr. Sarmiento, 100 milliliters dito sa NBI. Baka ibang ureter na ito. Ha? So that is why, to satisfy the family, so that they will have peace of mind, and that also Christine will have peace, and she will die peacefully. We need to find out. We insist on a DNA test on all the specimens and organs of Christine so we can find out the truth. Yes.
Attorney, sa tingin nyo, hindi kayo naniniwala sa investigasyon, resulta ng PNP. Nagkaroon ba ng bayaran dito? Direktahan natin. Nagkaroon ba ng bayaran dito sa investigasyon?
Dapat tanungin niyo sila kasi hindi naman kami yung nagbayad sa kanila.
Saka
Wala kaming pambayad.
Wala kayong pera.
Yes.
Ay, Ma'am Sharon na rin, I'm sorry to ask.
Oh.
Sabi ng mga respondents kahapon, sana raw mag-move na lang daw kasi wala naman daw silang ginawang kasalanan. Ano po ang sabi ng kay Ma'am Sharon?
Hanggang walang hustisya at may nananagot sa nangyari sa anak ko, paano niyo sabihin makapag-move on ako? Ang sakit-sakit hanggang ngayon, sila-sila lang naman ang magkakasama. Ba't hindi nila masabi yung totoo? Namatay na anak ko eh. I'm just knocking at their heart. Kung may konsensya pa kayo, magsabi kayo ng totoo. Ako ang namatayan, ako ang nawala ng anak. Kaya I'm just praying na sana makonsensya kung sino man yung may gawa sa anak ko. That's why I keep on fighting. Now, noon, sabi nyo, iyak-iyak ako. Ngayon, galit na ako. I need justice for Christine. Tama na. Kung ano yung pinasimplang-simplang yun na ginagawa, gusto ko yung totoo lang. Yun lang po. At saka sa mga media people, sa mga totoong media person, yung katotohanan lang po ang aking hinihingi sa kaganapan na nangyari sa anak ko. Yes, okay.
Yes.
Bigyan ko na ng ikamang ebidensya na merong ang kadalasang naganap. Ano po? Dito naman sa homicide, sir. May ebidensya po ba kayong pwedeng ma-share sa amin?
Yes.
Kasi pwedeng sabihin, meron niya akong krimen, sir, ng homicide.
Alam mo, yung hinihintay namin yung report ng NBI, so we will be able to get more information about the cause of death. Yung cause of death, ang gusto namin malaman. So, sana yung NBI report will be able to clarify that. Pero, alam mo, yung notwithstanding all these injuries, abrasion in the private parts of Christine, sinasabi na natural ang cause of death. Aneurysm, ruptured aneurysm. But, if we can establish that some organs are not the organs of Christine, then we have a different situation. That's what I'm trying to say. Nga magkaiba itong istorya ito. That means to say, mayroon ng kalokohan dito. At saka sinong responsible for the kalokohan. Alam mo yung hindi talaga matanggap ng pamilya, enlarged heart, 23-year-old flight attendant, flying 4 times a day, 30,000 feet above sea level. Do you think that that heart can withstand this kind of pressure every day? And do you think Paul will not discover na mayroon siyang enlarged heart? yung nandito, we will give you a copy. Heart normal ito lahat. No hypertension. So, how do you reconcile that with this enlarged heart? Yun ang tanong.
Binabanggit ko ba, walang consent?
Walang
Ang pamilya, walang consent.
walang consent. Pag
Nasaan po ang next of kin? Bakit po hindi kayo na-konsulta?
Tanungin natin si Sarmiento.
Tungkol sa pagkuha ng
Okay, I think si Sharon can answer that. Pag-embalment muna, embalment. Embalment. May conformity pa ng pamilya?
Bakit po kayo hindi na-konsulta rito? Bakit po kayo hindi sige ho.
Gusto ko nga tanungin niya si Sarmiento eh. Saan ba ang loyalty niya? Sa Republika ba ng Pilipinas o doon sa ibang tao na bakit niya ginawa yung pag-imbalsa mo na wala kaming pahintulot? At the same time, ngayon, yung mga organs na naman ng anak ko, kinuha nila, wala na namang consent mula sa amin. Ano ba kami? Tao lang naman kami na naghahanap ng hustisya sa ganong kaganapan. Bakit si Sarmiento? Bakit ginagawa niya ng ganyan? Anong karapatan niya? Hindi siya ang namatayan. Kami ang namatayan. Kaya dapat, kung ang out of office ni Sarmiento, he is loyal to the Republic of the Philippines, to his out of office, dapat marunong siyang magsunod sa Republika ng Pilipinas.
So, Mrs. Dacera, can you also say na noon wala siyang any condition that would premeditate yung outburst na you're raising ka? Wala siyang condition?
Wala sinasakit.
Wala po, kasi so far sa amin, na husband ko, we are both healthy. So, kung may manaramdaman man yan si Christine, usually tumatawag yan sa akin. So far, so good. Christine is healthy.
Wala ko siya ininom kahit anong klaseng gamot po.
Wala po. Vitamins lang to maintain her healthy posture. And para magkaroon siya ng exert energy during his flight.
Sir, confident na lahat ng mga meron sa kapatid?
Yes po.
Attorney, kailan ba ilalabas yung resulta sa NBI?
Hindi na nila sinasabi kasi yung problema ngayon ng NBI daw is that they want to examine the aorta in the possession of the PNP, but the PNP does not want them to avail of the examination. So, sabi namin na ayaw na namin get involved in the interagency problem. Yung amin lang hiningi, gagawa nyo ng DNA test. Kasi yung specimens ni Dr. Palmero, nakuha yan without the conformity or knowledge of the Dacera family. Paano yung hiwain mo lang dyan? Parts of their body without even the permission of the family. At saka isa pa, prior to embalmment, kasi mahaka-haka, sinasabi nga baka COVID si Christine, so pina-embalm ka agad. Remember, yung body ni Christine was taken from the Makati Med, not from just anywhere, nga baka may danger of COVID. Makati Med never advised that she was COVID. Otherwise, siyempre, magpaalam yung Makati Med kung may COVID siya. So, yung COVID argument for me is nonsense. At saka isa pa, yung IATF procedure for COVID, cremation hindi embalmment. Oh. So anyway, our point is that the embalmment was not done with the conformity of the family, and the embalmment was done irregularly because it was done before the medical examination. Kahit sinong tanungin mo, even the NBI doctors, I can mention this because hindi naman ito confidential, said that ang aming rule, forensics, is medical legal examination first before embalmment. Yes. Yes.
Autopsy. Autopsy lang yun.
Sana nandito siya. Aware pa siya na yung yan, gagawin mo na yung involvement. Kasi dito sa statement niya, parang sinundan naman po niya yung una sa lutada or magkaroon ng proper autopsy.
Wala ko na.
Ano yung mga una?
Actually, si Catherine, na cousin of Christine, sumama sa ambulansya ng funeraria Rizal Funeral Parlor. Sumama siya, dinala yung bangkay sa Rizal Funeral Parlor. Although nga gusto ng pamilya sa St. Peter's, nag-insist si Corporal Lopez nga doon sa Rizal Funeral Homes. Tapos, pagdating doon, sinabihan, nandun din si Corporal Lopez. Tapos sinabihan siya nga gabi na ito, bumalik ka na lang bukas para magawa itong examination. So, unfortunately, si Catherine hindi niya alam nga dapat may gwardiya dun sa bangkay para hindi magalaw ang bangkay. So, from 11 in the evening of January 1st up to 6 o'clock in the morning, kasi bumalik si Catherine 6 o'clock, walang nakaalam kung ano nangyari sa bangkay ni Christine. Dumating si Dr. Sarmiento alas 9, si Corporal Lopez bumalik mga 10 o'clock daw, sabi niya. So, Catherine, not being aware of the rule that dapat may gwardiya pag may suspected crime ng bangkay. Kasi you can alter so many things in the bangkay. And that is why the family wants a DNA test. Eh, malay mo kung pinalitan yung ibang organs dito. Tsaka sinabi, enlarged heart, ruptured aneurysm. Oh. So para ma-eliminate natin yon, let's do a DNA test. If we do not have the facilities in the Philippines, we call the attention of our legislators. Ano naman? Let's, Pilipinas, 2021 na tayo. Wala tayong DNA testing facility dito sa buong Pilipinas.
Attorney,
Yes.
ito kung yung particular po ninyo hinihingi na pagsagawa ng DNA test.
NBI. Sila kayong gumagawa ng second autopsy. So, they should be the ones to perform it. The physicians informed us that they do not have the facilities. Imagine, NBI natin, walang DNA facilities. PNP, wala rin. So, saan tayo pupunta? We may have to ask for some forensics experts from abroad to do the examination. Medyo baka tumagal ito, but in the interest of truth, let's do it. Wala pa kaming naisip ganyan kasi para sa amin, pagbasa namin ng medico-legal report niya, medyo tumawa nga ako ng kaunti. Kasi hindi na ito medico-legal report. This is more of a narrative. Tapos sa page 2 nakalagay naman opinion. Eh, medico-legal report, opinion ba yung nilalagay mo? Dapat findings mo yan eh. Eh, wala siyang findings kasi hindi naman siya gumawa ng autopsy. Tinitingnan niyo lang specimens. Hindi niya rin alam kung saan galing yun. Hindi niya sinabi, nilagay doon sa kanyang report. Sinong nagbigay sa kanya? What time? What date? Wala. So, we do not think that his medical legal report is worth considering. Let's go back to kay Dr. Sarmiento. Sa kay Dr. Sarmiento, we already filed an administrative complaint. Kaya ni-relieve na nga sila eh. Dr. Sarmiento has been relieved. Corporal Lopez has been relieved. Alimurong has been relieved. And I think also Chief of Police Depositar has been relieved. But yung relief will not solve the problem. Our problem, I believe right now, is determining the cause of death. And in order to determine that properly, we need to find out if these specimens and the organs inside the body of Christine really belong to Christine. Because from the family's point of view, paano naka-enlarged heart ito? Nagbabiyahe ito 4 times a day sa aeroplano, 30,000 feet, may enlarged heart. Eh, Bob, kukolapse ka dun sa 30,000 feet if you have an enlarged heart. And the PAL will immediately notice that sa kanilang medical because they are so conscious about the medical condition of their flight attendants. At saka, ano naman, nakita nyo naman si Christine, ang ganda-ganda nun, nagmutya pa ng Pilipinas. Iyon ba may enlarged heart?
Attorney, question lang. No? Kanina, yung enumerated yung mga pwedeng maging dahilan ng rape or pwedeng maging ebidensya ng rape. No?
Give us the proof.
Sabi lang naman nila,
Sabi nila, give us the proof.
sabi lang naman nila,
They can make the story.
at saka importante ito, just because their swabs do not reveal any semen, that doesn't mean walang rape. Kasi binabasa ko na sa inyo eh. Finger lang eh. Wala naman semen dito. Napasok sa private organs ng kahit sinong babae against her consent or if it's below 12 years old, rape na yun. That's already rape decided by the Supreme Court. Because that provision, insertion of an object, sabi ng Supreme Court, ang finger is an object also. So, yung sinasabing walang semen, walang drugs, so therefore walang rape, that is not from a person who understands the law. So, if you want a copy of the law, I brought my computer here para makita ninyo na pwede rape without semen, without drugs.
Sir, yung sa medical ni Sarmiento, mas tatanggapin niyo pa kaysa doon sa opinion ni Palmera?
Hindi namin tinanggap yung kay Sarmiento. Kaya hanggang ngayon, wala pa kaming certificate of death issued by the Makati City Civil Registrar. Hindi namin tinatanggap kasi sinusulat yan, ruptured aneurysm.
And yung Sarmiento report po yung inaano niyo ngayon?
Yung inaano ko, I'm citing portions. Alam mo yung may mga portions dito nga parang credible. Meron din portions nga incredible. Sinasabi namin, ibasehan natin yung kanyang report on the contusions at saka on the abrasions. There's a basis for rape based on Section 2. That you do not need a semen, you do not need drugs, even an object or a finger could be sufficient for rape.
So you're saying, sir, dito sa Sarmiento report, merong yung implication na naniniwalaan nyo right na yung nangyari.
Kung basahin mo yung kanyang report, there could be a basis to establish, sabi ko, probable cause. Hindi pa yung guilt, no? Kasi for a conviction, you need evidence establishing guilt beyond reasonable doubt. Iba naman yun. Iba naman yung probable cause. So, we believe that there is sufficient grounds for probable cause. Of course, this has to be resolved by the fiscal. And we also believe that in order to finally determine the real cause of death, we need a DNA test, which is not readily available in the Philippines. Perhaps we will have to ask for assistance abroad.
So, attorney, no, since you're mentioning na yung quantum of evidence is a probable cause, not necessarily guilty beyond reasonable doubt. So, you're still open to the fact na baka pwedeng hindi rin siya na-rape.
Pwede, correct. In other words, pwede rin mangyari that a probable cause can be established, an information can be filed in court, there will be a trial, but in the trial, the evidence needed is different. The quantum of evidence needed is beyond the shadow of doubt. Kung hindi mo ma-establish ang beyond the shadow of doubt, but only probable cause, not guilty yan sila. Pero, for purposes of preliminary investigation, na ginagawa natin ngayon, probable cause lang yung issue.
Siguro, attorney, ang nalang, next legal moves nyo coming from this.
First of all, we asked for entire copy of the CCTV 3 days before, 3 days after of the hotel. We are considering seriously the liability of the City Garden Grand Hotel for violation of IATF rules and regulations, and number 2, for having taken out a dead body. Taken out a dead body. Pinalabas sila, dinala sa Makati Med. Ang amin na naniniwala yung pamilya, namatay si Christine earlier, mga alas 8 ng umaga. Paglabas niya, stiff na yung katawan. No breathing, no pulse, stiff na. Alam ng security officer ng hotel yun. Patay na siya. Linabas pa nila. At saka pinapadala sa Makati Med. Hindi yun dapat. Dapat the body should have been retained where it was found and the SOCO informed so that they could do the proper investigation. Of course, again, this is subject to further information. Pwede niyo matanong yung mga individuals involved dito. Corporal Lopez, Alimurong, and another member of the police department pumunta doon sa hotel. Nakita sila ng tatlo, si Greg de Guzman, si Romel Galido, at saka si JP de la Serna. Pumasok sila sa 2209. May kinuha pa nga si Lopez nga articles inside ng mga damit ni Christine. Binigay niya sa kay, later on sa kay Catherine. Catherine refused to accept kasi baga ebidensya yon. That was 4 o'clock p.m. of January 1. Tapos, from the hotel, dumating si Corporal Lopez with the 3 nga yung suspects at the start. Bago siya pumunta sa hotel, dumaan na siya sa Makati Med. Admitted niya ito. Alam niya na may patay. So pagdating niya, pagbalik niya sa police station, kasama yung tatlo, Corporal Lopez at saka si Attorney Santiago. Kasama sila. So, ang sabi namin, bakit hindi na-detain yung tatlo dahil sa may patay at saka alam niya na may patay? Yung hotel naman, bakit pinalabas yung bangkay? Nga dapat tinawag mo na yung police department, SOCO, and so that the body could be analyzed properly, the evidence in the room could be preserved. Nangyari. January 1, may pumasok ng police doon sa room 2009 at saka 207. January 3 pa, ang SOCO dumating. Imagine, meron kaming affidavit dito. SOCO came into the picture January 3. Pumasok na naman sila ulit doon sa room 2209. January 7, NBI na naman dumating. Kaya sabi ng NBI, kami, we were the third persons to enter the crime of the scene of the crime. So, ang aming course of action ngayon is to get a copy of the CCTV and determine exactly the liabilities of the hotel in this particular situation. And then subsequently, we would like to find out on the DNA results on the organs. Kasi kung itong may organs nga maglabas nga hindi organ ni Christine, then this becomes a completely different story. And then, who is responsible for this cover-up? Yun ang mga course of action na we will take.
Last on my part na lang, Attorney. You've been mentioning a cover-up. Are you confident talaga na possible na may cover-up? And sino may magkakasabwat para papakalanan natin?
Well, kung may cover-up, very easily, Dr. Sarmiento would be involved. Corporal Lopez would be involved because they're both from the SOCO. Maybe the hotel will be involved. There will be many persons involved. The crime lab people. Kung specimen niya, hindi yung katawan ni Christine. Tapos sasabihin niya dito, nagawa siya ng autopsy. Hindi naman siya gumawa ng autopsy. Oh. He will be involved. So, I think a lot of people will be involved if we can confirm through the DNA results that these are not specimens from the body of Christine.
And that's the cover-up you're saying to protect the suspects?
Of course. That is where we want to find out the truth. By the way, please do not mistake that we are already accusing people. Wala pa tayong DNA results, so puro speculative pa ito. Pero para maintindihan din ninyo what the family is trying to do. Mahirap itong kaso ito eh. It's different. There are so many twists and turns. So many unanswered questions. Who were inside 2207? Who carried the drugs or the asin? Kasi pinapalabas nila parang asin daw. Kasi bawal yung asin pala dalhin sa hotel. So tinago sa sacks. tinago sa medyas. Ha? Ganyan ba? So, I think tayo nga nakakaintindi, hindi tayo naniniwala ditong istorya nga cause of the natural death, na natural cause of death because of the circumstances, because of the injuries sustained by Christine. Kung gusto niyo yung pictures, I have pictures of the body of Christine. Hindi lang namin nilalabas kasi parang it's not good to show this on television. But I think eventually during the hearing, lalabas rin ito eh. But just to show you why the family is so upset and so furious about what happened.
Kanina pa hawak-hawak mo yata. Attorney, this one?
Kung saan ba? Mga pictures?
Ano
Hindi, meron ako.
Yeah, the bold one. Yeah, the one.
Sandali.
Andun na kay Nestor.
Ito, I have a set. I have
Ay,
a
yung
set.
wala.
Hindi.
Hindi, yung kanong gabi.
Sa likod. Likod pa lang. Sa likod pa lang. Sa likod pa lang yan. Sa paa. Kaya you have to understand bakit galit ang pamilya. At saka ito yung mga injuries ito, nakalagay yun sa report ni Dr. Sarmiento, ha? Contusions. Oh. So, you can understand yung sugat pa yung mahaba, yung mahabang sugat. Ito. May mga hematoma, contusions. Ano ba ito? Natural cause of death ba ito? Kaya, we are not in any way prejudging the case. Hindi kami nagsasabi kasi sila yung guilty. Sinasabi lang namin, maraming ebidensya nga talagang may ginamit nga bagay at saka may ginawa sa kay Christine nga hindi maganda, nga yung pamilya hindi naniniwala nga walang crime committed.
Attorney, pakakula ako. So sa mga pictures na yan, yung mga parang gano sa likod, ano masasabi niyo?
Now we believe that she was subjected to some form of violence before she died. And at the time that she died, she was already incapable of defending herself. Kasi binigyan na nila ng drugs. Yun ang naniwala ng pamilya. I mean, I'm not saying yun ang nangyari. The family, that is the belief of the family.
You think mga what time ito nangyari? After ng 6 o'clock? Tingin nyo kailan nangyari? Kasi di ba ng 6 o'clock nakakagalaw pa siya?
Yes.
Pero after that,
We believe that these events occurred probably between 2 o'clock in the morning until about 7 o'clock in the morning of January 1st. Diyan na we bled. Doon nangyari. Probably namatay siya ng 8 o'clock. Paglabas ng bangkay niya, 12:30, matigas na eh. Hindi na, he was not already breathing, no pulse rate. So, something must have happened. Basta yung something must have happened that precipitated her death. And that is what we want to know. Oh.
Attorney, anong reaction nyo lang na, di ba, ang inaano ng PM, yung PNP is cover up and kabilang side,
Hindi ba? Sa, ninakawan namin ng picture ito sa Makati Med. Kasi ang Makati Med, ayaw ang pa-picture.
hindi daw yung PNP nila sobrang pinress sila ng PNP. So parehas kayo na nag-aakusa. So anong unang comment nyo dyan?
Ito, gagamitin namin ito.
Siguro baka papaniwala pa natin
Ito.
yung FBI.
Tingnan ninyo yung statement ng dalawa. si Romel Galido at saka si JP Dacera. Remember, yung binabawi nila, portions lang ng kanilang affidavit, hindi naman lahat. Sinasabi nila, retract namin ito, all about drugs. Nga wala daw sinabi po na si Mark Rosales, tapos yung isa, wala rin sinabi nga galing sa sacks ni Mark Rosales. That is the retraction only on that portion. So, ibig mo sabihin dito, they were only pressured and intimidated only on those portions? Kasi inconsistent sila. Nung ni-interview sila after they were released on January 7 ba yun? Nagpa-interview sila eh. Wala naman sila na-torture sila o na-intimidate sila. It was only on January 13 nga lumabas itong counter affidavit nila retracting, and but in the previous days wala silang reklamo. In fact, I heard, I don't know if this is true, tanungin nyo ng PNP. Ang PNP daw nag-file ng perjury case against Romel Galido and JP Dacera sa pag-retract nila. Kasi meron silang video na hindi naman sila ginalaw. So they voluntarily gave these statements. And we believe that the first statement is more accurate. Kasi it's also confirmed by the other witness in 2207 nga naubos na pa yung drugs, kaya wala na kami mabigay sa iyo. That's why importante ito na malaman natin katotohanan. They're all denying, sabi nila LGBT kami, but I pointed out to you already that even a woman could be charged with rape. So an LGBT can also be charged with rape under Section 2. So wala yon, yung LGBT theory, wala yon.
Attorney, yung statement na yung 207 humingi ng drugs sa 209,
Yes.
may affidavit na po.
Tanungin nyo NBI. Meron sila.
The NBI has.
According yung picture na pinakita niyo, yung sa likod, saan galing ito? Saan yung nakuha?
Ang kumuha nito,
Dr. Mariche.
si Catherine nga cousin, while the body was in the Makati Med.
Pinagbawalan ko.
Kasi pagdating sa Makati Med, nakalagay na siya sa body bag. Patay na kasi. Tapos sila ni Dr. Ramos at saka si Catherine, sabi nila, just to be sure, let's buksan natin kung ano nangyari. Pagbukas nila, nakita nila yung injuries, nagkuha sila ng retrato, pictures. And if there's a CCTV in the Makati Med, makonfirm yan. Nagkuha sila ng pictures. That's why, while the body was in Makati Med, because they wanted to find out kung ano mga injuries niya. So those injuries appeared while the body was at the Makati Med.
Okay.
Okay? Resume tayo pagkatapos ng NBI. Okay.
Tutuloy ko lang po, sabi niya sir, tama, yung mga retrato na yun, pinakita niyo, that was in
Makati na.
Baka gusto nyo yung PAL medical. PAL medical. Meron kaming kopya.
Yung pal na ano, health condition ni Christine, it's here.
Yung heart ito sa PAL medical, heart essentially normal. Oh. Ito yung sa PAL. Dalawa ito eh. No hypertension. Ito is itong latest March 2020 yata ito eh.
dalawa yan,
Oh, dalawa na. Picture nyo na lang. Dalawa ito. This one is 19 pa ito, 2019. Oh, so dalawa yan. Lagay nyo dun sa malinis na lugar para. Oh. Mayugit. Yan ito. Yan.
sa record ko ng PAL, sir. Nasa record ko ng PAL.
Clear po talaga.
Clear. Very much clear, sir. Tsaka wala yun siyang palto kahit na COVID. Pinadala siya ng PAL.
Sa iyo to, sa akin. Folder.